Welcome to the WebGIS Tech Essentials session. I want to show you how you can choose, a technology stack for WebGIS, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, which WebGIS library, with what to use in the backend. I will show you a cool stack that I'm using for myself very often, that I'm learning or giving to my high-level students in my 6-month coaching program. And this is exactly the step that actually lets you do every WebGIS that you want, basically. Okay. Of course, I will show you how you can actually learn this in a way that you can exchange technology. So often people say that, I have to learn a lot and technologies get outdated. Actually, I have something in the end for you that you understand. Oh, it's not actually the case. Just something else, which is way more important. Okay. So let's go into that one and let's get started on this. And please, whenever you have any question, write it in the comments here in our chat, and so that I can answer that as soon as I have a few minutes. Okay, so the agenda for today is we want to kill the overwhelm, and picking a stack you can actually execute. And this is what you will also do in the end. We will do it together. Okay, don't worry. And then great if you share that with me, with all the other people. I want to show you why most people get stuck choosing the tools. Okay. I want to give you a clear WebGIS stack that you can use basically for everything. Also, if you want to later exchange it, how you can do it simply. Okay. You are not in that crazy technology is everyday evolving trend, because this is actually not true. Actually, the basics, the fundamentals have been there like for 20, 30 years. Okay, I'm doing this now for 20 years, but I know they were there even 10 years before, or 20. Okay. And what the only thing that is evolving is that we get some new tools, that we get some new functionality in the libraries, but that's basically it. Okay. But when you have the fundamentals, you can read into that stuff like 10 minutes when you hit, and then you can just use it. Okay. Then these fucking overwhelm is gone. So choose your path. Okay. And the 60-day focus is what we will do together, and your next steps. Okay. So who is this session for? If you're not inside there, you can leave it. It's not for you. But if you're a GIS pro, data scientist, and you're new to web development, or maybe you're not new, but you want to become really good, you're like an intermediate and you would want to get everything together, it's perfect. People stop comparing tools instead of building. And anyone confused by HTML, JavaScript, Leaflet, ArcGIS JavaScript, Django, etc. Okay. So, and or to speak that in programming language. Okay, so the promise of today is you will know a high value stack to start with. In the end, you will see how all pieces fit together in a proven roadmap that you can simply take, go with yourself, or come and join me on my program. And you will leave with a 60-day stack decision, absolute focus, so you know exactly what's going on, what you have to do in your next 60 days. Okay. Before we get started, what's the number one thing holding you back or intimidating you right now? Is it JavaScript? Is it mapping libraries? Is it backend? Is it all of it? Is it like the architecture? Please drop one word in our chat, Okay, so that I can understand where you guys are at. Okay, and I don't have to guess here. So please start for me. For me, it was basically when I started, it was the WebGIS architecture and the terms that I came across all of the time. Okay, this is now almost kind of 20 years ago. So, but this is the stuff that I remember, and no one was showing that in university. Okay, so Jackie, things, architecture, about programming. Let me give this to you, Jackie. Programming, we talk about this. We have this, all of it, eventually perfect. The flow, data flow, most probably. That's perfect. Cody, thanks. It's basically about the architecture, right? And so I will give you guys that, and how to become really good in this. Okay, like a clear, proven path that you have everything at the end together, which is architecture Python versus JavaScript. We will go into that one which one fit best. You'll see here, Thomas, architecture. Perfect. Okay, let's go. Please type your stuff there. I will go already. So thanks for commenting this. And let me continue here. So what is the real problem actually? Too many blog posts, too many opinions, too many frameworks. Okay, just scroll through LinkedIn, what you have to learn. Scroll through job applications where people write out what they would like to have that people know, but actually it's often not what they actually want. And they think they want it or they think they need it, but it's often not the case. Like often you will read React and people get like, oh, I have to learn React, but you will fuck up in React in WebGIS when you start with React. Okay, it doesn't work. I will explain you in a few minutes why this is not cool and why you shouldn't start with that. Okay, so people think they need to future-proof their stack. Basically what I've just explained, that often people think like, hey, the technology is evolving so fast. It's actually, no, fundamentals have been always there. Just that there are some new functionalities and tools coming with it. But if you have the fundamentals, if you know programming, if you know how the architecture works, if you know how a library works, this is the easiest part. Okay, just adapting to a new tool is so simple that you will get it together in the end. So that I do not talk here about that, but you will understand this in the end. The result is months of research. Like, what should I use? How should I learn it? Am I learning the right stuff? Or should I switch to something else? And zero real apps. Okay, cannot get really started with this stuff. So the solution is, I know exactly where to start. I have a roadmap. This is what I want to give you guys today. Okay? I just need one simple proven step to begin. This is what you will have in the end. I can learn with a straightforward path in days or weeks, not in months or years. Okay, this is only people without the structure, without the strategy. Yes, I understand this totally. I felt this in the first month when I started WebGIS, how crazy this can be. And when you have no idea where to start, totally have you guys. But there's a real structure and I want to show you that today. Well, you just have to go along and then you can learn this. Yeah, depending on how much time you have, like in weeks, usually that's possible. Like with month, of course, 1-2 month is okay for front end first month, back end second month. If you have like 1 hour, 30 minutes a day only, then that's fine. Okay, but usually you can make it way faster. Okay, I want to bring you also to now understand how everything fits together step by step, and you can get guidance, supporting clarity. Okay, to keep moving. This is what I learned this. So, how I got where I am, let me a little bit brag for you in front of you. So, my journey with WebGIS. I built real-world WebGIS applications, so I know a couple of you guys are new here, so we quickly go into that one. Built real-world WebGIS applications for 15 years plus. Actually, it's now 20 years. Traveled the US with my families for a couple of months and even longer thanks to the skill board, our dream apartment through this career. Helped others turn ideas into apps and live a fulfilled life. Okay, taught students to create freedom through WebGIS. So here are a couple of cool applications with WWF Germany. This is something for Cesium. This is MapLibre. These are, and way more, of course. But this is the point. I want to show you why should actually listen to me. Okay. Of course, this is great, but in the beginning, I've been where you are. Okay. So I studied GIS, I learned GIS. I was unsure actually what to do with this. Okay. I learned coding in the university. The structure was crazy. Lecturer was showing us like everything on this. Here's something, this is a variable, this is a function, this is this is that. In the end, what like, hey, I don't know if I sometimes cannot read and write any code. I'm not so confident yet. I could build cool stuff already, yeah. But sometimes it took me so fucking long that I felt like, hey, this cannot be it. I have to be better and I want to be better in this. Okay. So then a classmate asked me for creating a WebGIS for them. And yeah, this was something totally different because we have learned like desktop JS stuff, maybe as most of you in uni or in Udemy or wherever. And yeah, I started WebGIS. It felt impossible. I almost gave up. I went through endless tutorials. It was impossible for me to connect the dots. Okay? But after a long time, like 3 months was it for me, I figured out a structure. So these guys were pretty patient with me, and this was great. So, and I saw that, hey, when I can learn this, really, I have something great in my career. Okay, can go out there, create real applications for people and serve people with what they really need. And then after a long time, I figured out a structure, clicked everything. Okay, I finished the project. This felt so great, and I felt so confident afterwards. And yeah, this structure is what I want to give you guys today as well. Basically, it's that roadmap. You want to understand WebGIS fundamentals at first, architecture and terms. Okay. Then usually go into the browser side, WebGIS libraries, then server side. And then of course you want to make a great career with that one. Okay. So let me bring you through this one step by step now. Take your pen and paper. Okay. This is serious. Write down. So basically, a lot of people start here, right, with WebGIS applications. Yes, I did it as well because I thought I can do everything. Hey, I know programming. I've done this. Okay. But WebGIS was like, oh my God. Like, read something like client side, middle tier, front end tier, I don't know, server side, databases. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I have no idea what's going on. And yeah, I started just here creating a WebGIS application, copying, pasting sample codes, but like totally crazy. Okay. And this is what most people do. And this is your number one mistake that you have to avoid from now, or you have stopped doing this really. Okay. You don't want to do this anymore if you want to become really good. You just want to play around. That's great. If you want to become really good, you shouldn't do this anymore. Okay. This will not bring you anywhere. Okay. Often, or what I did also, like this guy here, I'm creating a WebGIS application. So let's go here. I don't care about WebGIS architecture basic or JavaScript basic advanced stuff. I just start because I can code. I can just copy and paste the sample stuff and maybe, yeah, we'll be able to tweak it. No, nothing didn't work. Not at all. And I had to create a WebGIS application with editing stuff, with, yeah, storing the edited data in the database. And yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Okay. So I wanted to really make this true. And this is the mistake. A lot of people do think that, of course, I did it as well. Okay. So starting with apps, copying, pasting code, what a lot of other people also do is jumping into React. Okay. React relied on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So how good do you think you will become in React when you don't know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Well, yeah. Okay. Maybe full Django, start with that. Why should you? Okay. Front end, you want to see the cool stuff. You can start with the backend. It's cool. It works. But for the front end, this is something else. Okay. Learning advanced tools before the basics. This will eventually, lead to slow progress and not more frustration, a lot of frustration actually. Okay. Then number two mistake, a lot of people do, and what I see is constantly switching tools. Okay, like Leaflet this week, ArcGIS next week. Maybe let's try Mapbox, MapLibre. They look cool. The thing is, you will get no deep skill. Always, you will be like at the hello world level. Okay, you feel busy. Of course, you're doing stuff. You're busy, and it's great doing things and seeing sometimes a map coming out, but you're actually not advancing. Okay, you have to go this way here. Let me explain you exactly how this works. So you want to understand the architecture first, then you go into the development part. HTML, CSS, JavaScript for the front end is this one basically. And then you start picking your favorite WebGIS library and creating your WebGIS application. Okay. So this is basically what you need. WebGIS fundamentals, browser side, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Why JavaScript? Why can I not use Python? Because if you want to be the guy who can create everything for people, you might think like, yeah, but there's Volume and Streamlit and ArcGIS Experience Builder out there. They're cool. You can often, not often, always, companies come to me and they say like, yeah, we have used ArcGIS Experience Builder, and from 10 functionalities, we could bring in 3.5, something like, but the other ones we cannot, because they actually need a lot of custom development. The other guys are doing a great job. They cannot program every application for you or every functionality for you. And so you guys come actually in, you study this one, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, like for a year or two, and then you have this done, and then you're great. You actually do. I've done this with my students, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, in about a week. Okay, that's it. And then you have everything. And I will show you how you can do this. Okay, I will not tell you that it's doable. I will show you how you can do it too. And yeah, so that you're not jumping anywhere anymore. Okay, you just know, I can take this shit here and I go, okay, let me explain you why this works. First, let's jump into the architecture. It's so fucking simple, actually. It's unbelievable. And in most of the tutorials, they just don't show it to people. Okay, that's the big thing. And it's what you have simply is your client side. Okay, where your laptop is, your smartphone, your desktop, computer, whatever. And on the other side, you have your servers. Server simply is a computer that is connected to you, to the internet, like your computer. If you install a good server software, and, yeah, but people know your IP and stuff, and set up a couple of other things, your computer can serve as a server. Okay, can be a server. Usually you have website files there on the server. They reside in a usual folder. Okay, and that people can pick it. Okay, like google.com, there's nothing in or nothing else than a website somewhere in the folder, and the server will grab it and will send it to the front end. So what happens usually is from the client side, someone takes your URL for your WebGIS application, for it, and they type in the URL, and the request happens from the browser to the server. The server will look like, okay, there's something like this that exists. Oh yeah, it exists. So it will respond this. So give us the response. Okay, HTTP request, HTTP response in full, and it will respond that to the front end, to the clients. Okay, client side simply is the browser. All right, that's it. And it creates a website over HTML, CSS, and uses JavaScript code for interactions. Okay, that's important. And now on the server side, like, yeah, you have your website files. But if you have like a WebGIS server, like ArcGIS server, ArcGIS Online, GeoServer, something there, they are usually using scripts behind the scenes. Okay, and these scripts they are placed on the server. I will show you later on. We go even into the backend today, so they quickly understand that everything today. Okay, but basically there's a script, and you can like send. Yeah. For example, if the person here requested a WebGIS application, okay, the next thing is I need the base map, for example. And if you're using ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript, Leaflet, whatever, they will do a request to the server, actually to the scripts. Okay, the script will know, okay, or this is usually the URL is not a URL to an image, it's actually to a script. And the script will take will get base map out of a folder structure up in Quadri or something like that, and will give you the base map for a specific level. Okay, and responds it here. The other thing that you want to do often is you have a database on your server or a database on another server. It really doesn't matter. I'll show you later on a bit more in detail. And you want to do a query. Okay, you can send like delete request this. The Python script will delete your database or respond everything work. Okay, no, you don't want to do something like that. Often what people only can do is they can type in their word clause or something like this, but not a full statement like a delete. Okay, you should never allow something like that. But let's say, hey, give me all the features where, I don't know, all the counties in the US that start with A or something. Okay. Then this will be sent to the server, to a script. The script will take this, will request the data from the database. Database will create the response, will give it to the script, and the script sends it back to the front. And there you will take it with JavaScript, like is it GeoJSON or something, whatever you have told you to do, GeoJSON, and put it on the map. People can see it. Okay, this is basically the easiest architecture and how it always works. Okay, of course, you can have several servers here, one server with a database, but usually your Python script, for example, knows the URL to your database and will be able to request the data from it. Okay, that's it. So all of the time there will be happening requests and responses, clients, servers. That's it. Okay. So let's go into the browser side. Why should you do HTML, CSS, or why should you learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Because you want to be able to create any application that people need. Okay. And these are the base technologies. If you don't know about them, you cannot use React because React relies on these three guys. And still, even if you're using React, you're still all of the time using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript inside React. Okay. And in the beginning, you can simply start with that. You can create actually everything. Okay. Literally everything. Okay. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Bootstrap is a great library, Tailwind, calcite system, if you want to go into that, but usually I often start with Bootstrap with my people. Cool CSS frameworks with having nice modules or components inside. But you have to understand HTML, CSS, JavaScript before, okay? And basically in HTML, it's about 10 elements. If you understand them, then okay, that's it. CSS, also about like 8 concepts. If you have them, that's it. JavaScript, 10, 15 elements, and you can read and write every fucking code. Okay, that's it. So let's go into that one and I will show you how you can learn this. Okay. And before, why often people feel lost with tutorials. Often when you go into a tutorial, people will assume you already understand a lot of stuff. Whenever they talk, client side, server side, middle tier, database connection, Django, GeoDjango, libraries, I don't know, a lot of, okay, this is not working like this. Okay. So you have to go this path, then you have the fundamentals. You can then understand really what they're talking. And often they focus on specifics, okay, and not actually getting you started. There should be an 80-20 ratio. In most of the tutorials, we have a 20-80 ratio, which means they will show you like the fundamentals, 80% of the course. What did I say? The fundamentals, actually 20% of the course. And then 80%, they will show you examples like how you can use a WebGIS library. And why should this work? I have no idea. This means they will show you like what is a loop, basically what you can do with HTML, CSS. Maybe you will copy and paste something, but what you actually need is you need the fundamental 80%, and then only 20% understand how a WebGIS library is to be used. And not learning it. So, okay, we'll come to this later on. You don't have to learn actually a lot of examples there. Okay, this is not the point. What you actually want is simply understand how you can use a WebGIS library. And this is the cool thing. And I will show you today how you do it as well. So why do you feel lost? You don't know where and when to use what you have learned. This is the result basically of the ratio that most of the tutorials get wrong. Okay. So what do you actually just need in HTML? You just need to understand web page sections. Okay. Often there's main headers, footers. Okay. That the headings, paragraphs, Okay, like H1, H2, maybe you've heard about these paragraphs, like having little margin in the top and the bottom so they can better read it. You must know about links, want to know about images, how you can create a list. Of course, a table is great because we use that a lot in GIS, you know that. And of course, inputs, like how can I, receive inputs from people, okay, like in text fields, numbers, stuff like that, okay. It's basically everything that you need. If you want to create a web page like this, you can use basically a header. This is the main part. You can put this to the side and you can fill this up until the rest, like with the Flexbox system. Okay, that's basically everything. The result, if you only use HTML, will be something like this. Okay, if you say, hey, header with logo, WebGIS application, then the main part, tools, options will go here. Stuff will be looking similar to that one. Okay, there's nothing to see. We have to add CSS here. Okay, like telling, hey, okay, how is it meant to be that everything is in place here? Like that this is the header, and this is actually a sidebar, and this is the map part where I can put my MapLibre in. Okay, you have to put in CSS. 8 concepts, usually that's it. And the result will be finally like this guy here, okay? Using the Flexbox system, if you have heard about this, you can do this easily. Usually in HTML, everything will be below each other. With Flexbox, you can say, hey, put them next to each other. And this one has a width of 300 pixels or whatever. And then fill the rest like up until the end of the page, until this, okay? This is what you can do. Okay. Later, after you have nailed HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you want to go into Bootstrap or calcite system. If you're using ArcGIS, JavaScript, or every systems, that's great. If not, if you want to stay open source, use Bootstrap. Tailwind CSS is also pretty cool. Bootstrap has a lot of cool components like this item here. And you can easily read that when you know HTML and CSS. Okay. For now, it looks maybe strange, but if you know HTML, CSS, and you have just gone through the most important things in HTML, CSS, you can easily read that and understand what all this means here inside. Okay, that's it. But a lot of tutorials to show this the right way. This is the shit. Okay, and then people cannot read it afterwards. They have no confidence that they have seen everything, and this is not cool. Okay, and like, Phil, I've gone through this as well. My voice was just gone for a second. So let me something. So next, I want to show you how you can actually get really good in programming. Okay. Again, when I started programming, we built a calculator in the university. We were studying GIS. Okay. Yeah. Lecturer jumped around like, hey, here's a variable, here's OOP, this is a function, this is how loop looks like and what you can do with it. Okay. So we picked up all pieces, but felt confused at the same time. Okay. The big problem was the structure was missing. And with it, the confidence that we actually had it all together. Okay. Later on, I came across a great framework that I refined and optimized into a clear and step-by-step process. And this is the exact framework. Okay. It's very simple. And this is actually everything that you just need. Okay. It's not in full detail here, but this is basically how you start. So this is my proven step-by-step system that I go with for my students, enabling them to create any WebGIS application that they want. Okay. Understand where to put the code at first. Then you go into variables, data type. Okay. Like strings, numbers, arrays. How do you do an input? How do you output? How do you control your program? Okay. Conditions, loops. How do you write a function yourself? And where do you put it? What is object-oriented programming and not the crazy stuff? Just simple. Okay, just show people like what is an object. We'll show you in a few seconds. Then what is a module? Module is basically an external JavaScript file. Before that, and this is not many years ago, people put everything into one file. This was crazy. And now you can have simply a lot of external JavaScript files that have like code parts inside. Okay, that's the cool thing. And you can easily exchange them between or reuse them also between projects. Okay, then AJAX, how do you send actually a request to the server and receive data only with JavaScript and not sending actually the whole web page like how it was like 20, maybe 30 years ago. Okay, there was no AJAX at that time, so you couldn't actually request data with JavaScript, not have to reload the web page. Okay, but this one is the backbone of all this shit. So that you can actually request data from the server. And if it's the base map, if it's you want to request data from database, everything works through Ajax, okay? And nowadays fetched. So then of course JSON, GeoJSON, and objects. And one of the most crazy tools that a lot of non-professionals or a lot of new people are missing out on is debugging. Okay, putting breakpoints in your code, see exactly what data is in your code at which time, and then you can always see like what's happening exactly in your code, in your loops, new conditionals, and everything that you write. You can go step by step with these awesome tools and basically breakpoints. Okay, debugging using breakpoints. These are about 15 elements only. That's it. Okay, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or something, but some of them have like 3, 2, and so on. Okay, but basically it's about 15 elements, and you can read and write every code that you want. Okay, simply, concise, straightforward, and easy explanations and exercises. That's it. Okay, after I learned those, I implemented my first WebGIS application with ease and joy and confidence. Okay, so and what you want to basically map your ideas, your thoughts into these elements, and that's basically it. And the cool thing is in programming, you can do this. Okay, these elements are everything that you need to put your thoughts and crazy functionalities inside that elements. Okay, when you learn them, you can program everything. Okay, even AI is just relying on these crazy few things here. Okay, so each step builds on the previous one. Okay, so that sequence is what makes you confident. This is important. I see a lot of tutorials. They start with people somewhere in the functions or even in object-oriented programming. Are you crazy? You have to object-oriented programming is using variables and functions. So how can you start with that one if you? So that doesn't make sense. Okay, and if you come across something like this, just return it. Okay. So variables, simply you can store numbers in variables, for example, like in JavaScript, let my latitude, let my longitude. This is how you store numbers in variables. They're stored basically in the memory, and you can use them throughout your code. Okay, can perform calculations inside, and JavaScript has really cool built-in functions, like with math, for example, square root, tau, rounding, random numbers, and stuff like that. Okay, this is basically how you start. Easy explanations, easy exercises. Okay? This is not the full thing that I show people, of course. Of course, in my Pro Academy, we go really in detail into everything. So functions, this is a function, okay? You write function before it, you give it a name, and they have parameters, A and B. This function creates or calculates the sum of two numbers, okay? A plus B is the final sum, you return the final sum. Usually, the function you will use from that point that your code is repeating, okay? Like you have a specific calculation that happens often in your code. Then you will write one function for it, okay? And if it's just summing A plus B, okay, start simple. Don't use crazy stuff. Just understand how a function works, okay? That's it. And then in your code, like you have a lot of code here, blah, 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 blah. And then at some point you need that cool sum function, okay? Of course, we often use it for NDVI calculations, of course, even more cooler stuff. But in your code, you say like, okay, this is my number, 1 equals 5. Number 2 equals 10. Okay, so this one holds 5, this one holds 10. And then you're writing the name of the function here. So, opening bracket, closing bracket. Number 1, number 2. So number 1 will be A, number 2 will be B. Okay, and then you can use it inside the function, or it will be used simply inside the function. So this is number 1 was 5, so A will be 5, number 2 is 10, B will be 10. 5 plus 10 equals 15, return 15, okay, and this means it's like as if you write 15 exactly here, and this will be written into my sum, and then you can of course continue. If it's an NDVI, this is more complex and stuff. No, not more complex, not in this way that it's complicated. It just means you can of course do everything with these functions that you want, okay, and then use it further on in your code, whatever result you got here, okay. This is what functions do. And object-oriented programming, really quickly, okay, basically, why do I explain you object-oriented program? This is one thing that you want to understand to be able to use any WebGIS library or any library in this world, pandas, GDAL, that you want, okay? I will show you quickly what is just that you have to understand. Basically, in libraries, we are working with objects, okay, like a point here. You can see here, I have a point, like an example class, pseudocode class point. The point has properties, X coordinate, Y coordinate, color, okay, it has methods. Constructor, drawing the point, setting the color of the point. And these properties and methods, they're nothing else than variables and functions, okay? Variables and functions inside a class are properties and methods. So basically the data and the actions that your point or your object, whatever it is, can do or can use, okay? So you have maps, polygons, a human in walk mode, for example. The properties of a human can be like the language that the human is talking, the hair color, and the size and stuff like that, okay? Methods of a human in walk mode can be like, you draw the human, of course, with the properties that it has, like, the size, the hair color, this and this and this. You can really extremely narrow describe this one with these properties, and then you draw the person, okay, into the WebGIS application. And you can make it jump, you can make it run, you can make it sing, you can make whatever, okay? And the same with the car, with buttons even, okay? Of course, for us, it's like in WebGIS, we care about maps and feature layers. Also, points are very important, okay? And then often in JavaScript, you will simply say new point, okay? And then with point.color, you can get the color, use it, or you set the color. If you have a map, you can, or let's go here to the bottom. I can go there with my mouse, just see, then this thing comes up. But you can see, okay, like here in the bottom. The properties can be the map center. You want to know what is the map center. Is the layer visible or not? What is the geometry of a specific feature? Okay, so you can get it like this. And below that, even if you look in the bottom, the methods, map, zoom to, layer, add a feature, pop up, open the pop up. Okay, this is what you do all of the time in WebGIS libraries and any other libraries as well. You're using its objects and its functionalities. And if these functionalities are not there, congratulations, you have just learned JavaScript here, and you can create everything else. Okay, this is what makes you insanely valuable out there for everyone. Okay, so object-oriented programming. My family is just watching Shaun the Sheep. Make it down now. Please wait a second. Okay, thanks for your patient guide. Okay, guys. So where have I been? Yeah, objects. Okay. And this is what you're using the whole time in WebGIS libraries. Okay. For example, this is, the API reference simply of ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript. For example, you have the feature layer you see here, properties, methods, even events you can have. Okay. And the properties can be, like the fields, your feature layer can have. Methods can be like creating query, adding features, deleting features, and stuff like that. Okay, so this is basically what you use all of the time. And there are so many cool things inside. And if something doesn't exist, as I told you, you will simply program it yourself. Okay? You might think like, yeah, but I don't have a technical or computer science background, so I won't be able to understand all these concepts. Okay, you don't need to. Okay, when you go through these elements, you will basically, when you go through these elements, you have understood everything and how it comes together. Okay, so the backend, this what I will show you later, not tomorrow. Most of my students don't have a CS or computer science background, and they succeed. I don't have a computer science background, and I can create any WebGIS application I want. Okay, so if you go through that step by step, you will have everything together that you have to understand. Okay, that's basically everything. And I've seen a lot of people with, or worked together with people having a CS background, and they couldn't program how like cool that a lot of GIS people can do. I've tried learning programming languages before, you might think, and I always gave up. I probably quit again. Okay, as I told you in the beginning, most courses do not teach it well. Okay, step by step, 80 to 20 is the key. 80% fundamentals, okay, and 20% of the cool stuff. And then you can do everything, which is libraries. You don't want to learn examples, 100 examples, even learn 1,000 and memorize the code, what is happening if the 1,000 first comes, that's gone, you're gone. Okay, you have to have the fundamental. And the cool thing is it doesn't take longer. The time that you need doesn't take any longer. Okay, 8 hours with JavaScript and you have everything together actually. Okay, so this time you will follow a proven roadmap, proven framework. Okay, I don't have enough time to learn JavaScript with my busy schedule. I have to scroll YouTube every night and stuff like this. Hey, you guys are here for a reason. Okay, and this structure makes you learn it in days. Okay, not in months. And I know often people don't want to dedicate time because they are afraid it will not work out. This is actually the thing. But when you have the right framework, you can go for it. Okay, you have it. This is Gabriela, one of our heroes in the WebGIS Pro Academy in my full support program. So she said, I went through Udemy courses and I could create a function, but didn't really understand what it really does. So the structure made everything click. I 100% got it now. Okay, and then she created this amazing thing here on a WebGIS application on LinkedIn. People love it. A lot of people reach out to her with freelancing opportunities and stuff. Okay, this is what comes from that. Okay, so let's go a bit deeper now into WebGIS libraries and how you learn everything, like 100,000 examples, and then try to memorize everything. Okay, no, I want to show you what you do to not actually do this anymore. Okay, you don't want to memorize stuff. You never want to memorize stuff. I don't do it. No bullshit. I have nothing memorized in my brain. I've just understood how these elements works and that's it. Okay, I hate memorizing. And I don't want this potential. What you start is with the documentation, of course, and we will now read for the rest of this session, like we still, let's take like 12 minutes, okay, that we read the documentation of the ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript, and you can get started with this one, okay? No, of course, we don't do this right now. What you just want is you want to get started with the right thing. It's actually this one, diving into the big four. You want to understand how you add the layers, how you tweak visualization, how you add pop-up, how you add your own widgets or widgets of the library itself, and then how to create your custom widgets. Okay, so this is the fifth one, and this is for yourself. Okay, but basically this is how you can get started with any WebGIS library, understanding or what do you just want to understand from WebGIS library. And they work all the same. And this is, they have all maps. Maybe you have seen that. If you've started with MapLibre, Leaflet, ArcGIS Maps SDK, Google Maps API, Mapbox, there are so many open layers. They all have these objects inside. Simply having features or simply having properties and methods. Okay, variables and functionalities. That's it. And you use that all of the time to create anything that you basically want. Okay. And this is how you get started. Understanding, like you just need to understand how to initialize this in the first time. And then you use all the functionalities and you have fun. Okay. And you don't learn crazy examples anymore. Okay. Because you have the fundamentals. You can really program all of this stuff. Okay. You've taken your 8 hours for JavaScript, your 4 hours for HTML, 4 hours for CSS, and that's it. That's all the shit that you just have to do. Okay. And then you can do it all. If you're serious. If you just want to have a look inside, you're welcome. But if you're serious, then that's it, what you have to do. Okay. To set up every WebGIS or any WebGIS application, usually this is my 6-step system. Often I start with 0, okay, for the user interface, user experience. You start with the page, how it should look like. Often I get inspired from, what other people did, and then I make it nicer, okay, stuff like that. So you don't have to always reinvent the wheel, something like that. Okay, then you want to add the API or the library simply to your WebGIS application, whatever it is, ArcGIS Maps SDK, Leaflet, MapLibre, whatever. Create a view. Okay, add the map. Like the view is this stuff where you see the map inside, basically. Add the map, add layers to the map, wait for the layers to be loaded, and then add all the functionalities and clean, readable structure. That's everything. Okay, so this is your checklist to stop guessing and start building. Okay, and start with the library simply with that, and and then everything you do for yourself. Okay, these are the most important things. From there, you can do everything yourself. I wanted to quickly give you an easy decision tree on how to decide which library you could use. Okay, for example, if you need a simple map with markers pop-ups, you want to use Leaflet. If you come over 10,000 features, like point features only, Leaflet, no, doesn't work anymore. Okay, doesn't work anymore. You have to then at least go into MapLibre, GLJS. If you need high performance vector tiles or 3D rendering, even if your data is already in the ArcGIS ecosystem, go with ArcGIS Maps SDK. It's amazing. It's well documented. I know a lot of people say it's shitty documented. I know where this opinion comes from, but it's actually really, really good documented, and a lot of cool examples that you can just tweak. Okay, if you have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can tweak all this simple. Okay, very simple, where you can understand all of the code. That's it, and then you can tweak this. Okay, so if you need complex JS analysis, projections, editing, stuff like this, only on the browser so far, okay, OpenLayer is cool, Leaflet, MapLibre with Turf.js is great, okay? Of course, there are some more decision criteria, okay? It's the stack that maybe your company is already using or that your clients would love you to use, okay? What are the goals? What are the constraints? What do you want to create? And what are the constraints of like Leaflet? Okay, like I need 50,000 points inside on that map. No, Leaflet is out. That's it. Okay. But if you want to have a simple map, okay, quickly showing something little to people, Leaflet is cool. Okay. So with that one, my favorite, by the way, is MapLibre, GLJS in open source, and then ArcGIS Maps SDK for proprietary one. Okay. So that you have an opinion of my side. Okay, that's it. So the big picture, okay, so you have now seen the browser side, what's important, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, object-oriented program is one thing of that. And you've seen like WebGIS libraries. You have to just understand what are these objects and how you use them. Okay, simply with the map.center, map.add layer. I don't know. That's it. That's everything that you have to do all of the time. Nothing else. Okay, that's simple. And then it doesn't matter. ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript, Leaflet, OpenLayer, MapLibre, they work basically all the same. Okay, they're a little bit different in the functionality that they have, but that's it. Okay, but usually the initialization of the map and how you view it to people and stuff like this often exactly, or very much the same. They all use these objects, and you see if you have these objects and the functionality that is there, you use it. If it's not there, either you would decide for another library or you program it yourself with your knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, that's it. Nothing else. So let's go into the server side to give you the final full picture here. Before, why most are not making progress yet? It's usually because you guys didn't have a clear step-by-step roadmap. Often I see people jumping between tools without mastering one. Okay, tutorials don't show how it all comes together. This is what I give you today exactly. Okay, and there's no feedback, no support. Hey, welcome to our community. It's great to have you guys here. You can ask here any question. This, or we call this WebGIS Ascension system. Basically, hey, this system is perfect. Even if you're using Esri and other like Mapbox and stuff like this, even open source, you can add everything on top, okay? Or perfect if your clients simply need more functionalities that Esri guys don't have, then you spin up your own server-side part, okay? Or create it in the front end, depending on how much computation power it needs, okay? If it needs a lot, server-side is better. Otherwise, browser-side can be totally fine, okay? Just be careful. Often people, and I see even samples in the ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript, that they are having samples getting statistics out of front-end raster data, which is often generalized. Yeah, you understand how good your results are actually, okay? Or generalized data. Okay, that happens. They go just to the server side and make it real, make it correct. Okay, that's it. This is Bruno. He finally got clarity in action after going through that roadmap that I've just shown you. After 1 month, he created this cool application, weather application. Everything is synchronized. If you move that one, if you click here, you see information in the other ones. If you move this one, all the other ones move as well. Here we have checked his code a little bit in one of our coaching codes that we have. And what the roadmap gives you, I actually want to come with you guys to the backend. I'll go to the backend and then I will go back if I don't forget it. Okay. Yeah, this call, it's something that you should hear. Okay. Let me go into the backend and show you a cool architecture example. Okay. With Django. And this is basically, why do I show you Django? Why not something else? Because Django is really powerful. It has a lot of cool functionalities. A lot of people say it's crazy overhead. Fancy word for simply having too much functionalities to be, I don't know. But plus API, for example, is a smaller one, takes like setup 5 minutes. Django takes you 10 minutes. And you have a lot of more opportunities. So what should you pick? Simply take Django. Okay, that's cool. And it has a lot of amazing stuff. So how does this thing work? Basically, what I've shown you guys so far is, well, let me draw maybe on this one, shown you the front end and the back end. So far, this part, okay, browser side and server side, requests, responses. Okay, this is what I've shown you in the beginning. Now, if you put Django in between, you have basically a URLs dot py here. This is a Python script. Geos dot py. Oh, it's another Python script. Model dot py. Oh, it's another Python script. Oh, cool. Templates. Yeah, this is actually a folder. Okay. Oh, not a nice F, but you can read it. Okay. So F for folder. Folder. Okay. That's basically it. So what does all this mean? Basically, the URL's py. No, let's start with the views py. The views py is cooler. The views py is basically where you put all your functionalities inside. Like, for example, there can be a function inside. Depth is how you, in JavaScript, you say function to create a function. In Python, you say depth. And then you say for example, query. Okay, query. So this is your function here that you have inside that view spy. You can have, yeah, infinite functions there. Okay, if you can, if your computer can store this, of course. So, and then this one, you can, for example, query the database directly or use this model spy here. It's using the ORM, Object Relational Model Language. Okay, forget about this so far. This simply, yeah, doing kind of SQL statements, but programmatically, so with program code. Okay, but you can simply use also your Python script here to query the database directly, sending or opening the database connection with the IP, with the connection simply to your database, one that you use in QGIS, ArcGIS Pro, everything like that. Okay, literally the same thing, and then you send the statement that you want to send to the database, like give me all the features from this and this layer here, and it will return a response to you. Okay, this will give you a GeoJSON file for it, or not a GeoJSON file, but it will give you a response. Often it's like a list with all the features inside that you have queried here, and then you can, for example, create a GeoJSON representation of this. Okay, and simply send this to the front end. Okay, simply say in the view spy there are some cool functionalities. Send it to the server. Server will send it to the front end. There you will take it with JavaScript, and then you put the GeoJSON features on the map, or you create a table, something like that. Okay, so but how does the request go there? How do I get this started here from the front end? This function. And this is where the URL spy comes in. There you have a simple mapping. Okay, for example, you can say my web page. I don't have a web page currently. I basically use LinkedIn for my web page, which works extremely well. And usually it's gsterrain.com. And if you type geosterrain.com, you cannot do it. But if you would type geosterrain.com/query, okay, or /do a query, whatever you want to use as URL, then here in the URL spy, you can say, okay, whenever someone is sending in a request to geosterrain.com to my query, then forward this request to the function here, okay, to that function. And then take the parameters that most probably someone has sent from the front end, like a where clause or something like this. Or if you want to do a spatial query, even like the polygon for the region or something like that. Okay, and then send everything to the database, like PostGIS database is awesome. PostGIS. Okay, and also have like fancy DuckDB or something like that. It really doesn't matter. And then, so you will send it here. We'll get back a response, create it to GeoJSON. Okay, and then send it to the JavaScript here. Okay, and then use the WebGIS library functionalities, okay, to create a GeoJSON layer and push this stuff on the map. Okay, or use HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, Tailwind, whatever you want, and then create a table here with all the features and its attributes. This is basically how the whole system works. That's everything. Okay, so again, browser side, server side, and on the server side, actually all of this stuff resides here. Okay, you have your Django app there with your UL spy, view spy with a lot of functionalities that you can get data from database or from a file, simply from static files. Okay, this template, by the way, is often used for web pages. So this can be your WebGIS application, for example, and you can make a function that takes the template and then sends it to the front end. Okay, and then this is your mapping, your WebGIS application. Okay, did I talk everything? I think that's it. So URL spy, matching the URL. So yeah, the URL to the function. Function will get data, for example, from the database. The views will or in the script, you can create a GeoJSON representation out of this and then send it to the browser. Okay, that's cool. All right. And now let's go back. So what is so cool about that roadmap here? Okay, at first, you have a clear plan that works. Okay, it's proven. This roadmap is proven. Okay, you have something real to show in the end. Because on the way, you will create a lot of cool things. And it's great, like in my WebGIS Pro Academy, we will create real-world application, not just fancy tutorial application, but something that you can even sell. Okay, and this is what you can do afterwards. Exactly. Okay, for your company, for your freelance business, or whatever you want to use it for. Okay, you have the big overview and everything you need. Okay, and the tools must be explained in plain English. Okay, the coding stuff, everything. Okay, and then you have the confidence you are on the right way, and you have the opportunities to earn with your skills very well. Okay, this is basically it. So let's clear it out. Maybe you think, oh, this looks very complex. Okay, you just need the right order and steps. That's basically it. Okay, and you need the detailed steps. You guys have seen how this basically comes together. This is WebGIS. Okay, basically, that's it. I don't have a tech background. You already understand GIS logic. The path does the rest, that you have understanding of exactly how everything comes together. Okay, too many tools, still a lot, still feel overwhelmed. Okay, start with the front end. Okay, step by step framework solves this. You get everything together. And then, oh, but how do I actually publish my stuff? I hope you get this question. So I wrote this here. It's basically just a bit different from these guys. There's Vercel, GitHub, Netlify. They're pretty cool. Make it easy for people. Just check their documentation. It's too simple. Okay. The cool thing is when you go over the sequence, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, get the fundamentals of programming, understand OP, understand how libraries work, and not just go for millions of examples, but really simply understand how you use these objects in the code. Map.add layer. That's it. Okay. This is what you will do all of the time. That's it. And then server side, Python. You have just seen that. If you want to go further with JavaScript, Node.js. Node.js works pretty much the same, except this one here. There's no URL spy. This mapping is clarified here directly in their views spy. Okay, and there's not a views spy in Node.js, of course, but in their main script. Okay, this is clarified. Everything inside there in Node.js, and it's very simple. You will do all of this stuff. It's the same. Okay, basically, absolutely the same. So you can easily exchange everything afterwards. Okay. And even if there's new functionality coming inside, technology evolves so fast, crazy. You just read the function, like what it does, and then you use it. You put the correct parameters inside, showing you how functions work. A/B. Instead of A/B, you mainly have to put in like the list of features or something like that, or your image, your satellite image, whatever, and then you get an output and you use it further in your code. Okay. Now on the server side, you have seen basically the top here, Python, QPandas, GDAL. What is this? Basically, desktop JS program. Okay. With Django, you make it working for the web. Okay. It's a web framework that you cannot say, hey, JavaScript, make a call to a Python file on your computer or on the server. It doesn't work. You have to use a Django framework and put the Python or use the ViewsPy simply inside that. Okay. Of course, inside that, you can refer to Python files that you have created before. Simply use that. Okay. Use all the code simply that you have ever created. Just put that into Django and then you can use it from inside. Okay. PostGIS database great, Q server is cool, and eventually you want to have a great career with this stuff. Okay? You're not just learning this only for the fun of sake of fun. Okay, this is awesome. It's really cool, a lot of fun. But you want to have a cool career, and you can use this for great jobs, or starting freelancing, having your own company, living the fulfilled life that you're actually looking for. Okay, traveling with your family, having more time for you, stuff like that. Okay, this is the outcome. Oh wow! So we're quite over the time. Went pretty much into deep just saw. So I have a little love. I have a little exercise for you guys. Okay, so I want to sketch out your WebGIS idea and stack in 2 steps. Okay, and so you can commit that for the next 60 days, right? So for that, let's go here. Let's come here, or let me before we copy this here. Here. 2 steps. What is your use case? Okay, the WebGIS application can be any application that you can think of. Okay, it can be as simple as Google Maps, as I don't know, your weather app, your agriculture app, something like this. Okay? I simply want you guys to write your use case here, something that you would like to work on, or hiking app, or whatever it is. Okay, and then a few core features. Okay, like for me, the last thing I worked on is energy WebJS. Okay, and the core features. Core features were editing, showing the energy network, getting pop-ups and attributes, so the network. So we can see how well it works. Okay, so this is my use case. And then, so what library stack did I use? Basically, in the front end, I was staying very simple HTML, CSS. Wait a second. If you guys write your stuff here, it's great. Okay, please come with me. Okay, write at least your use case, right? Write at least your use case. Things checking. Okay, everyone else, go please, Bobak, Anne, Cody, Dimitri, Manuel, Arun, Katleo, Lee, Mirko, Monsirs, and Jida, and everyone else, please type your stuff here. What is your use case? Okay, type your use case first. So I have used basically for the stack HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, also Bootstrap. And so this is for the front end. Let's go with this. Bootstrap. What did I use? I started with Leaflet, but Leaflet was shit. So I changed very quickly to MapLibre. Okay. Then in the backend, I used their Django and basically GeoDjango. What makes GeoDjango? You install simply GDAL. I totally forgot this. GeoDjango Pro and an extension for the PostGIS database. Okay, that's basically done there, but not in this project. we were not using a database, but we're using NC files. Okay, this is where you can, for example, store networks beautifully inside. And I was using GeoPandas and pipes as energy network library to get actually data out of these NC files and work with them, see solving them and stuff like that. Okay, that's basically it. Please take yourself like 2 minutes. Don't overthink. There's no wrong, no right here. Just writing what it is for you. Thanks, Cody. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, everyone else. Just type your stuff inside here. Okay, don't sit just there around. Move it. And if you have a question, write it there. Okay, if you're unsure about, is this actually shit what I'm writing? Like, I'm technical people. I'm shy. I'm a technical person. I don't know. Maybe I'm writing crap stuff. Just write it. Okay, if anyone writes shit below that, you guys are out. Okay, everyone goes out of this community who is writing crap stuff below other people's stuff. Thanks, Emmanuel. Just saw this here. I put this quickly in the Zoom for those who don't know where you have to write it. Okay, and then you get here. It's basically the first post here. Okay, I would grab something to drink and you write it, and I will be back in 30 seconds. Cool, Jackie, thanks. Beach restaurants, core features, pop-ups showing the time, dollar ratings, nice. Route from location A to B, some sort of rating system or price ranking. Oh, that's so cool. HTML, CSS, and Leaflet. That's cool. Backend, no idea. That's great. No worries about that one. Backend is a bigger thing. They just wanted to give you the whole thing, that you have seen the full roadmap and have an idea of how the data basically flows. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Where do you have the data in, Jackie? In a GeoJSON file, or do you scrape it somewhere? If you can, you can click here, and then I can delete and ban user. This is of course not what I want for you guys. So just click here on the three dots and edit it. Okay, that's it. And then you can it would be cool if you just write here also where your data comes from. Okay. And Cody, hiking WebGIS can segment existing rails, give route details, 3D view. Yes, that's cool. Okay, front-end MapLibre, CSS. Yeah. Most probably you will need it as well as HTML and JavaScript. And in the backend, PostGIS. Cool. So where you have your hiking trails inside, most probably. And the library. Yeah. GeoPandas, GDAL can be great. Or maybe start with GeoPandas. That's often more than enough. I have to create it. Okay. Get this. Okay. Let's see our shortest path calculations without using Google Bing API instead with our own digitized data. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. Front-end MapLibre, Leaflet maybe for base map. Yes, you can use both in one project, but it's not often what people will actually do. Okay, it's often that we decide on one of them, and often there are ways. And yeah, base. You can put actually Leaflet base map below that one, and MapLibre, for the map. right on top of this. But then if you move one thing, like if you're lucky, both of this is moving when you drag and drop it, but maybe just the upper part that is moving. Okay, and MapLibre, you can most probably find a lot of the same base maps for that MapLibre and also Leaflet. Okay, backend, no idea. That's cool. I think it's rather that you guys have more ideas because the use case is not so clear yet, and that's fine. Okay, it's totally cool. So Lee, thanks for sharing parcel WebGIS core feature showing the parcels with and getting pop-ups with addresses and name of divisions. Let's see. That's great front end HTML, CSS, JavaScript, backend. Not sure yet. That's fine. If you have your data in a database, that's cool. If it's in a file, just write it here. This would be cool. Historical map visualization from WebMat, core feature map view and explore and analyze compare HTML, CSS. Yeah, sounds great. Okay, and things waste management GIS are very cool. Core features pop-up showing type of waste, garages, like where you park cars, or number of truck. Okay, find the best book between depots and waste collection. Okay, awesome. HTML, CSS, ArcGIS, JavaScript. That's fine. With the roadmap, you will be able to use this. Maybe backend, maybe Django. Sounds great. Awesome. Right, please finish it up. Now I will go through the last slides. Thanks to here for sharing. Ahmed is still writing. Let me go through the last slides and then please, after the session, when you finish this one, just paste it here quickly. Okay, would love to see that and give you some feedback on. Okay, so where have we been? This is this one. Okay, this is Joshua, one of our WebGIS Pro Academy heroes. He was writing like one of our people went to a workshop that I had in the community. Maybe you've seen this last week. And he said that I was starting from zero. After some days, I could really cool stuff. And Joshua was like also writing, hey, yeah, that was also me last year. So Joshua also came from Udemy and crazy stuff like this. He couldn't also really get it together. And then there was also me last year when I just went all in with this field and choose Christian as my mentor. I got my return of investment back, increased my salary, doing freelance stuff and building my own GIS startup now. Okay, he's part of our bigger program, hoping to see you grow, man. So this one is to the other guy. And here's a little part of John Pro's LinkedIn. If you want to just check this one. He's really creating amazing stuff these days. A lot of dedication. He took the leap and went through this path, and now he's having his own business. So cool. Okay, so this basically the WebGIS Ascension system. Start with the fundamentals, browser side, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And then after your first one, let's say 2 projects, maybe you can start with React. Okay, that's cool. All right. And then React will only make sense then because you won't come across a couple of things that React has, and they won't make any sense. Totally no sense to you if you just start with React right away. Okay. But if you started with these guys, React is not made for learning it in the first place. It is okay. React is made for solving a couple of things that HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you can do it with this as well, 100%. Just with React, maybe you can do it a little bit fast, okay? So that you have reusable components a little bit easier, but now JavaScript has also evolved a little bit and maybe you don't even need React in the future, okay? But it's still cool to maybe learn this quickly after, yeah, 1 or 2 projects, 1 or 2 real projects with WebGIS, okay? Like creating a WebGIS application. And then React will become even simple and absolutely clear to you what this stuff is about. Okay. Then choose a WebGIS library, your favorite one, your favorite cake. Okay. Server side, desktop programming. And then this part here is actually what makes this thing web usable. Okay. And then of course you want to have a great career with this. Okay. So why this works? Less cognitive load. Okay. Equals to more output. Okay. More input, more output, but actually, okay. Mastery beats variety. And you can, as I told you, can simply change like from Django to Node.js extremely quickly. Okay. If you have understood how the data flows through, if you've done this yourself once. Okay. Real projects are greater than just collecting tools, okay, or text that you can actually easily exchange that I've just explained you. And the truth is, I've told you, Lib's technologies fundamentals are the same for a long time. Okay. So it's the fundamentals have been there like for 30 years, 40, 50. I don't know what it is. It gets new functionalities or maybe tools. But with the fundamentals, you can adapt these functionalities and tools within a few minutes. Okay. It's a bigger tool, maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, but usually extremely fast. Okay. And there's no, I try to keep up or something like that. Okay. It's really, if you have the fundamentals, you can easily keep with everything. That's the cool thing. So now you have seen the start and the first project idea. Okay. The challenge is now executing and adjusting when you get stuck. So for that, I want to invite you guys for WebGIS, a free WebGIS roadmap call. Okay. The one-on-one call with me. All right. To sanity check your stack choice, maybe fill up the last things in the backend that you were not so clear about, adjust it to your job, freelancing, if you want to start freelancing or if you're doing it already, or want to create an app that you can even sell. Thanks for watching. And yeah, it was great having you guys here.